Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of Code Northeast, and in this video we will show you how you can access any Linux OS from any browser. Okay, and so to do that we need to install some softwares, and we will show you step by step how to install them, and if you face any issue while installing we will show how to fix that as well. Okay, and in the end we will also show you how you can write your code in that browser, because once you can access the Linux, obviously you will be able to write your code as well and run and compile them as well. Okay, so let's just begin. Once you opened your Red Hat, just right click and open the terminal. Okay, I'll just maximize it and then I will just zoom in. Okay, so I hope this zoom in is enough, and then what we need to do, we need to log in to our root. Okay, root user, and once we are logged in, let's check our repo list. Okay, by running yum repo list we can check our repo list, and here we see that only the DVD is added. Okay, if you have watched our previous videos on Red Hat and VirtualBox, you know how we added this DVD as well. And if you have not added the DVD means basically the ISO file that you use to install your Red Hat. Okay, so even if you didn't add this DVD, then you won't be seeing this. Okay, but in today's lesson, in today's video, we will use another repo list. Okay, that is called EPL release. So here we don't have our EPL release, so for that actually we need to go to the temporary folder, and here we don't have EPL release as well. For this we need the URL from where we can download it. Okay, to download we will use the wget. Okay, and now I will quickly copy the URL to download the EPL release RPM file. Okay, so as you can see, I have quickly copied the EPL release RPM file, and then when I run this command wget with the link, it should download it. Okay, I'm not connected to the internet, that's why it's giving me some issue. I'll just connect it, and now once the connection is done, I'll run this command again, and you see our EPL release has been downloaded successfully. Okay, so now we need to install this. Let's run the ls command again. Now type yum install, then we'll just copy this. Okay, copy and paste it, and we'll run this RPM. Okay, we'll install this RPM. Just type y and click enter, and you see our EPL release has been installed successfully. So now again we need to run the repo list so that our repository is updated. Yum repo list, and you see the DVD has been registered, but now we need to check whether our EPL release is registered or not. Okay, so you can see now our repo list DVD is also showing, and the EPL release which we installed now is also showing. Now we will be able to actually move on to our main software installation. That is, we need to install shell in a box D so that we can access our Linux from any browser. So to do that, let's just type yum install OpenSSL and shell in a box. Okay, so just type this command and we will run this command. Okay, and let's just wait for these two files to be installed. So it's installing our shell in a box, using which we will be able to access. Okay, so once installed, let's open the configuration file and check whether it's configured properly or not. Okay, you see here we are able to see port 4200. Let's just change it so that we get better security, 6120 for example. And then what we need to do, we need to set up our SSH. Okay, so basically what it's doing, it's actually using the browser and giving us an interface, and inside the interface internally it's actually logging in. Okay, so we will disable the OPTS part, we'll just comment it out, and then what we will do here, we will give the SSH. Okay, in the SSH we need to give, instead of this domain name, we will give 0.0.0. what 0.0. means it will log into its own server. Okay, this localhost itself. All right, I think it's good enough to run. Let's save it. Okay, press escape, then we will be able to save this. Okay, WQ, then we'll just save it. Once saved, let's try to run this. Okay, systemctl restart shell in a box. All right, I think this much is enough. So let's just run it. Okay, we are able to run this, and let's just check the status of the shell in a box once. So yeah, our shell in a box is running. So let's open Firefox and then check whether we are able to access our shell in a box. Okay, so inside the VM only we should be able to access it first, because if we are not able to access in the VM, so obviously we will not be able to access outside. Okay, so before accessing we will need our IPA. Okay, so run the ifconfig command and just scroll up, and this is our IP. Okay, just copy this and then we'll move to Red Hat. Okay, it's not copied. Let's just copy this, and here we will paste, and then we will give the port that we just provided, that is 6120. So you see our shell in a box is successfully opened, and we can see login sign also. Okay, just we will log in into our user. Okay, so see, we are able to log in, and this is our Firefox. Actually we are running this on our Firefox. So let's run some command. Okay, ls. Okay, and we can run some command like mkdir code. Okay, so it's creating some directory also, and we'll run the pwd command, and we can see that we are able to run almost all the commands. Okay, so now let's try by accessing it from outside the VirtualBox. Okay, but before we try to access it from outside the VirtualBox, we need to disable our firewall actually. Okay, and the reason is because Red Hat provides a high level security, so as long as the firewall is enabled, we will not be able to access it from outside our VirtualBox. So to do that, we just need to run systemctl stop firewall d. Okay, then we need to disable it. Let's run disable. Okay, and we are able to disable this. Let's check the status once, and you see it's saying inactive and dead. Okay, now let's move on to our Chrome browser. So here you see our Chrome browser is logged in, and I'll just zoom it in. Okay, so this is from our Chrome browser, and then let's click on connect. Here also we should be able to log in. Okay, all right, let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, I think this much is enough, and then we can run our code here as well. Okay, so here let's try to create one class, create one Java file, and then let's try to run it. Okay, let's say I'm trying to run first class.java. I will quickly write down the code for this. So you can see I have write down my code completely in the browser, and now I'll save it. Now once saved, of course we need to compile this. So the issue was that Java JDK was not installed in my system, so I had to install it quickly. So let's resume. Here I have created our Java file, and now let's compile it again. Okay, let's compile it. See, now it should be able to compile. Now once compiled, we can run this. Okay, like this. See, hello world from browser. So we are able to run our Java code in the browser itself. Likewise, we can run our Python code as well. Print hello world. Okay, so see, we are able to do our Python itself, and Python comes pre-installed with Red Hat, so I didn't have to do anything for this. And then I think we should be able to run our C code as well. Okay, so let's write a simple C program. I will quickly write down the code for this. Okay, so the code is written. Let's just save it. Okay, now we can compile this, right? Let's compile it again. Yeah, so we are able to compile. Let's run this. All right, to run this we just need to type a dot out. Okay, So see, we are able to get our output from the C. So we are able to write code for C, we are able to write code for Java, we are able to write Python as well, and we are able to access our whole Linux from here. Okay, see, we are able to access our whole Linux. So from here we can even go to our root user as well. So there is not much restriction and we are able to access our root user as well. Okay, and we can even do our installations from our browser. So just to wrap it up, let me show you how it can work even in your mobile phone as well, because as I said, it should be able to access from any browser. Okay, so as you can see here, we have shifted to our phone and we are able to access our Linux OS from the phone as well. Okay, so we will be able to run our code also easily, and then simply we can run these commands and then we can create folder as well. Okay, for example mkdir folder 2, and see, we are able to create our folder as well from the phone itself. Then we can go to the code. Okay, and then we should be able to run our C code as well. Okay, see, we are able to run our C code, and for the Java code we are able to run the Java code as well. And for example, let's say we want to run Python, then we are able to do that as well. Okay, let's say we run something like print hello, and then we'll run this, and see, we are able to print our hello as well. Okay, and we are able to successfully exit also. As you can see, we are able to run most of our codes and we are able to compile our code and run our commands as well. But there will be some limitation because the keyboard that we are using is a Android keyboard, and the keyboard that the Linux supports is obviously a PC keyboard, right? So in that case there will be some issues that you may face, for example while opening VI editors. Okay, so once you can open it, but you won't be able to exit it, because to exit the VI editor you need escape key, right? But Android does not support escape key, so that is one limitation. But without that you can access all the Linux commands. You can even use the yum install and install some packages. Okay, and there is another workaround to this issue of opening editor, that you can use actually a emulator keyboard. Okay, that a keyboard that emulates a PC keyboard. Okay, that will be easily available from your Play Store as well. So I hope you like this video, and if you like this video, then don't forget to like and share this video with your friends, whoever is interested in learning about new technologies, learning about Linux. And also do subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell so that you get notified about more such videos. Thank you.